Hey everyone, welcome back to Vlogmas. Today I'm going to be making some dinner. That's some ice that I'm making in the background. I'm actually craving some Mongolian, so that's what I'm going to be making. I'm going to start off with avocado oil in a large pan because I am going to be making everything in one pan. While that heats up, I'm going to move on to the prep work, and this is all that I'm going to be using. I actually have this bag right here that I'm going to be just throwing all the trash in as I go. I'm going to start adding everything into these small bowls just so that I can transfer them to the pan when they're ready to go. So I'm going to start with the onion first, and I'm just going to peel it. Once I have it peeled, I'm just going to start chopping the onion this way. That way I can have long pieces of onion, but they're still thin and they're going to cook quicker and still be large enough to eat so that they're not like diced up in little pieces. I like to separate them before and I add them to the bowl, then transfer them to the hot pan eventually once I'm done separating them all. Now that the onions are chopped and the pan is hot, I'm gonna add the onions to the pan and just keep it moving in the pan. Keep my eye on it just so that I can make sure it doesn't burn. We just want like a translucent onion. While that's cooking, I'm gonna prepare the mushroom. I'm just wiping them down with a damp towel. I don't want to submerge these in water because they absorb a lot of water. In the meantime, I'm gonna keep an eye on my onions and chop away. These are going to be the next vegetables I'm going to add to the pan, so that's why I'm cutting them right after the onion. Now that they're ready, I'm just going to move the onions around a little bit in the pan and then add the mushroom and mix again. I'm making sure that the mushrooms are fully coated with the avocado oil. If you want an easy way to peel the garlic, just make sure that you use a large knife, just smash it a couple times and then the peel will come right off. Once you're ready, just start slicing and then I dice just to make sure that the garlic is really tiny. Using the knife to move the chopped garlic into the bowl so I can transfer it to the pan once it is ready to go. Once I add the garlic, I'm going to make sure that I keep an eye on this because garlic does burn quick and it adds a bitter taste if it is burned. Moving on to the broccoli, this is probably the last thing that I'm going to add to the pan. I'm just going to chop off the top of the broccoli. I don't eat the stems. I know that a lot of people recycle these, but I don't. I'm just going to chop them up to bite-sized pieces. You can also just peel them right off of the head. And this is the broccoli that I'm going to add right at the end so that it can stay crispy. Once I'm done prepping the broccoli, I'm going to move on to the meat, and I got this meat from Costco. It is a thin cut ribeye. Sometimes they have it, sometimes they don't, but you can definitely get this at any grocery store. Just make sure you ask for it to be thinly sliced. I like the thinly sliced meat because you can get it cooked faster. This is a quick and easy meal. This is what makes it taste and feel like you're eating Mongolian barbecue. Once I've added all the meat, I'm just gonna go ahead and start mixing it up and making sure that the pieces of meat are not sticking together. I'm just gonna let it cook for a little bit while I chop up some jalapeno because I completely forgot to add spice to this. And you know me, I love spice. So I'm just gonna dice up some jalapeno. I'm gonna keep them in the rings like this, transfer them to the plate, and then move them into the pan. Once I added the jalapeno to the pan, I'm just gonna mix it and let it cook a little bit with the meat so I can add some flavor with the onions, mushroom, and the garlic. And then once it's cooked a little bit, I'm gonna move it to the side so I can make the sauce directly in the pan. Here are the ingredients to the sauce. The only thing that I'm pretty much gonna measure is the 1/4 cup of soy sauce. I am running low on my sriracha, but I do have a backup. And I love this chili garlic sauce. It's pretty much like sriracha, but it's really spicy and has like a garlic taste. I'm going to be thickening up the sauce with the xanthan gum, which you guys have seen me use before. I also picked up these healthy noodles from Costco. They are pretty good, so I'm gonna use these because they are gonna expire soon. So I wanna make sure that I use these up. They're pretty easy to use. You just honestly open up the packaging, add it to a bowl. Once you've added it to a bowl, there is some like liquid that comes out with it, which I'm assuming is like the preservative that they add. Once you add it to the bowl, just make sure you rinse it several times under cold water. And this is the way it looks after I've already drained it and rinsed it several times. The texture is great and there's really no flavor. The flavoring is gonna take on whatever it is that you add it to. Now I'm gonna move on to the sauce. I'm only measuring the soy sauce, like I said, and I'm gonna measure it to a 1/4 cup, and then I'm going to add the rest of whatever's in this bottle of sriracha, and then I'm going to add the garlic sauce. I'm gonna add pretty much like 3 pumps out of it, kind of like 3 tablespoons, or measuring kind of like that. And then I'm gonna mix it up a little bit, and then I'm going to add the xanthan gum to make sure that it thickens up. Once I add the xanthan gum, I'm going to use a whisk just to whisk it up together and let it sit there for a little bit and thicken up before I mix it in with the meat. Now that it's all mixed in, I'm just going to let it sit there and develop the flavors. At this point is where I'm going to add the broccoli and mix it up so that it's fully coated with the sauce and the meat. And once that is mixed up, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of water, and this is just to help the broccoli get going and steam a little bit. I'm going to add the 1/4 cup, then I'm going to cover it with a lid. Having this little bag on the side is super convenient. Collected all the trash, and now I'm just gonna grab it and throw it away. After just a couple minutes, the broccoli is ready and it's still bright green and crunchy, which is how I like to serve it and how I like to eat it. Now that everything's ready, I'm just going to add the noodles and mix it up. I don't want the noodles to cook too long because they will get nasty. So I'm just gonna add it, turn off the heat, and then mix it and serve it. And right at the end, I'm gonna add a little bit of black pepper and some pink Himalayan salt. Make sure you don't cook the noodles for too long. They don't really need much. So once you've mixed it all together, then serve it up. Here's how it's looking for the 2 plates before I add this chili powder, which we got from Japan. I know you're probably thinking like, good God, girl, like you add a lot of spice. I really do, and I like the different types of spice added to the meal because it adds different types of flavors and different layers of flavors. So with the sriracha, the jalapeno, the garlic sauce, and now this, it's just really, really tasty, trust me. It also stores pretty well, and this is the rest for meal prep. I think this meal really, really calls for a Diet Dr. Pepper, so that's what I'm having. And here is my plate. It's pretty good. The noodles are really good too. I wish I would have cooked them a little bit less, but it's fine. It's really tasty, and it's a keto meal. I got back on keto. This is pretty much all I did for the day. I worked earlier, so it's kind of boring. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your family and friends, and don't forget to subscribe. Hit the bell so you're notified of when these videos are going up, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.